Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. The bus tour is well underway here in Georgia. You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward.
And that's just an admittance that you failed. A new way forward. Due to current administration, what's wrong with the old way? What did you guys do? Are you admitting something? Kamala, you need to come and be out with it. A new way forward. But you're the vice president currently. And you brought a support person. What is that all about? This isn't how interviews are supposed to go. And you look different on this interview, and I can't understand why. Is it stress or something? You know, after presidents are in office, usually a couple of years, they start to age. She gets starting to get that look. They probably is yelling at her all night about what not to do, and she probably doing everything they told her not to do.
In a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Well, it would seem that they turned the page on it when you guys were elected in 2020. I don't know what pages you're turning or what book we talking about, but you were confusing everybody. The way you're responding to this interview, you look like you didn't sleep real good last night, and I guess Coach Walz is sitting there to jump in or to substitute you or switch you out with somebody. I don't know what's going on, but he don't look like he really was needed. What are we? Nah, we didn't need him.
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families. For example,
I like the way that sounds, an opportunity economy. Well, what if everybody don't have access to that opportunity that you're talking about? Because so far, all I've heard you guys talk about is the middle class. And if you're only focusing on the middle class, how are the other people in the country, which may be as big as the middle class or bigger, the working class, the working poor, the homeless, and the under and not represented, the black people, do you have a plan for any of those groups? Kamala?
Example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life to help them buy a car seat.
See, give them a job. Give him an opportunity to start a business. Give him an opportunity to man to make more money so his wife don't have to go out and work. Give them more opportunities economically for their household and not no government handout. And at the end of the year, you got to fill out some damn paperwork so they can send you $6,000. It got to be a better way than that. It has to be. That's just like that old school Democrat stuff. And we'll get into that a little deeper. And I'm starting to look at it now. When I was a small child, it seems like the world to you, and what it is just a way to keep you hooked on the government.
To help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number.
And by the way, just to touch on that plan, she's just sitting there just getting crazy with it. I guess she feels like she ain't gave an interview in a while and people forgot about anything she ever said her whole life. You know, but that housing help, I think it's like a $25,000 down payment assistance. You know, you can put more with it, or that might cover your whole down payment, but there are stipulations. And any of you are interested in that need to look into it. Like if your parents own the home, then you don't qualify. You know, you have to be like a person whose parents never owned a home. Kind of like a illegal immigrant who just came over here. But if you're a person who is an American, been here, and your parents are Americans and been here, or even if you're first generation, your parents could have owned a home, which would disqualify you.
Things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be. And I think many of these things that
To what can be. That's bullshit. You cannot inspire America to what can be. You have to do something, and then we can be inspired. We done spent 3.5 years of what can be. What can be. We done added 10 million minimum to the population in the United States instantly, and put them all on health care free. So, never mind.
the vice president's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one we know that reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We did it in Minnesota.
And how do you reduce child poverty and not reduce just poverty? Why can't you just say poverty? Why can't you just, because we're the ones with the money. Kids don't have no money. They're only in poverty because of adults. So why don't you fix adult poverty and quit talking about child poverty, because there will be none.
Have a federal partner in this. Unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically.
Or when it comes to their history. You know, it's not all about money always. Some people want to go back because going back refreshes one, gives them knowledge and information that they may not have had or need to be shaken and awakened in them so that they can start behaving appropriately. That's all. You know, it ain't always about money. I know, Dan and Bash, where you trying to take this, and I do agree with what you're saying as well on that point, but it's not always about money. It's other things too that they can do.
Because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost.
We can't blame that on either administration. The COVID epidemic was something that happened. It hit us all hard, and it's nothing that anybody could have done about it. It was in the lap of the president, and I believe that systems should be in place where the president activates those systems. But the systems have to be in place. You shouldn't have to be developing anything once the pandemic hits. You know, that's something that prior presidents should always keep on point. And when it hit, it was just a fiasco, because I don't think anyone who would have been president at that time would have looked really good. That's personally how I feel about it. I don't think Donald Trump did a good job either, but I don't think anyone would have. It would have been a tough one.
Well, I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America. And today, we know that we have inflation at under 3%.
When you made it go way up and then brought it down to, she's saying 3%, don't feel like 3%. It does not feel like I'm paying 3% more than I was paying in 2019. It doesn't. When you order things that luxury items, everything's gone up. So I don't know what she's talking about there. 3% my ass.
A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it. Which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging.
Distraction. She's going to go off chasing price gougers, and we're all going to be cheering her on as the prosecutor. And no, We got other things that take way higher precedence than you going around chasing down price gougers. You better find a department that falls under and assign that to them and have them report back. You need to be taking care of Gaza. You need to be taking care of reparations. You need to be taking care of a whole lot of other stuff. Stopping the flow of money in places that the American public don't agree. If you get put in office and you think that means we're giving you a green light to continue down the path you're going, it doesn't. And you're going to be a very disliked president should you get in. And then immediately start that. I'm going to get the American people what they voted for. No, that ain't what we voted for. I see it coming.
What we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children.
Give them more money. Tax credits is not the way. Because when one president come in who ain't friendly to these people and turns it upside down or revokes it, pulls it back, then that couple's got to deal with, oh man, it sure was nice when we got that extra $6,000 a year. Yeah, but the president came in who don't like us and we ain't got it no more. So let's think of permanency. Let's think of things that go on and on and on, and not these little flashes in the pan for short-term feel-good moments.
Their most formative years. What we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for.
Yeah, $25,000. Look into that one a little more. That's all I'm saying.
First-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices.
So why is she bringing up Donald Trump in her answer? She said, why haven't you done this already? This is not going to be no hours-long interview on and on and on. She needs to get to the point and answer the damn question. We ain't heard from her in a while. We ain't got time to hear about Donald Trump. He just gave an interview yesterday. We want to hear from him. We'll look that up.
Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited, I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother.
Yeah, campaigning. That's all you do is campaign. You keep talking about all the states. I was in North Carolina. I was in Georgia. I was in Nevada. All swing states. All you doing is campaigning. Have you gone to any of those states and done anything for anybody before the campaign? Can you list some achievements and accomplishments other than visiting to eat chicken and hoo-ha with the people and get their vote? That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You still are the VP, and you guys still have work to do.
Who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that
So
any
you
longer.
maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%.
Children don't even vote.
When we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America. Well,
Wasn't 800,000 that number they were saying was inaccurate or something? I know she ain't still repeating a lie. God, I'm gonna have to look that up. I wish I had heard that on the first time I listened, because that right there I'm looking up. Because I remember it was a discrepancy in their job numbers, and she just said a number that rang a bell, and it was 800,000. I'll get back to you on that one.
we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs?
Like China. China. Imagine if they just closed their factories. That's who we rely on for our basic needs. Everything we get, the stuff we buy online, the things we go in the store to buy is China. She's talking about we can't be relying on people for our basic needs. You guys set us up that way.
I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do, but that's good work.
I want to get some clarity on where you stand on some key policy issues. Energy is a big one. When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
As vice president, you couldn't ban fracking. Quit overstepping there. You know damn well, no matter what you wanted to do, that's Biden's call. It ain't your call. You ain't the president yet, and you haven't been. And when was vice presidents going around shutting down? If he sends you out to take care of that, I get it. Hey, she's going to be our fracking czar, like she was the border. But I would not want to put you nowhere near fracking after we saw your little performance down there on the border. He should have gave you something else, like put you over, I don't know. Everything's so important in this country. Maybe you should have picked another vice president.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
She's delusional.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed.
Mine either, but my position does change on a lot of stuff. I might get more information, like that lady tried to help her out. I can't believe that you got the interviewer there trying to help you out, and you don't even get it. You don't even get it. She's trying to help you out, and you're still sitting there saying, You'd be a hard person to interview, especially when you're on the same team and you ain't picking up the clues. She's trying to help you out.
I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we cannot
frack. Just kill it. Stop it. You can't like fracking and the environment. You gotta like one or the other. That's where she's trying to split hairs and fool people into believing you can do both responsibly. If you frack, you're fracking. And if you're saving the environment, we can do two things. No, we can't. Not that.
what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act.
And why was you against fracking at first then? What would make you not be against it all of a sudden? It's not any healthier or better for the environment.
What we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana,
Wow. She said we can do it without banning fracking. She's on board with the Biden team. She looks stressed. She looks so stressed out. And she probably deserves every bit of it. Because she's up here knowing she's lying.
I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Wow. Ain't that something? How people can just change their position, but their morals haven't changed.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for.
Ridiculous. Definitely in this for herself. She's going to do anything the Democratic Party tells her because that's all she worried about is just being okay with them. And she don't care who she step on the way. Because right now we got more human right type issues going on than they know what to do with. We're going to go right now, guys, and get ready for the next video. There is a part 2 to this one. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe.